It's kit unboxing day. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. Today I've got the brand new Simon Says Stamp card kit for October 2022. We will unbox it. I'll show you what's inside the kit, and then we're gonna make five cards. That's pretty good. With the core kit ingredients and a few other things as we go. So I will have timestamps below in the YouTube description box for the unboxing and all of the cards. If you want to jump around or skip the unboxing, whatever you want to do, I got you. To see that kit unboxing and the card makes, stick around. It's coming up next. Commence the unboxing. Let us see what we have. Oh, okay. We're going to get a Simon pouch with the black. Oh, I love it. I love these pouches because I actually keep my kit contents in the pouch, and I actually have this area where I just stack all of my kits for when I go back to them. So you're getting one of those. Let's take that out. Oh my, okay. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, look. Right out of the gate. Wow. Okay. I need to pull out the sheet. So hold on here. Let's see. I don't want to spoil any surprise. Okay. Let's get it all lined up again. Oh, I love a good tag. All right. This is the October 22 card kit. It is called Sunflowers and Daisies. Okay. Sunflowers and Daisies. So as you can see in this kit, you are going to get two full-size Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively saturated ink pads in Citrine and Pearfection. And I can vouch for both of these colors because I love the greens, I love the yellows, and that is a really cool inclusion in the kit. Let's cover you up a little bit. All right. Ooh, you are also going to get one of the Simon Says Stamp blender brushes. This is in the, what color do we call this? Well, we just call it pale green. Oh, it has a little cap to it too. I never keep my caps, but these all come. They will come with a cap, which is nice if you craft on the go, right? But if you have not tried any of the blender brushes, they're wonderful, and this is a nice small little head to get into small places. So we have a blender brush. We have an orange cream sucker. Didn't want to forget about that, right? Next, we have some Hampton Art Deco tags with twine. Look at that cute little pack of tags. Now, actually, tags coming in a fall kit, that's kind of cool because I don't know about you, but I love to make tags for gifts, whether it's for the holidays, well, especially for the holidays. But that is an awesome pack of tags, and I like the twine on that. I'm going to rotate this a little because I don't want you to see the goodness below. In fact, you know what? Close your eyes. We're going to flip it. There we go. Okay. We're also getting a pack of jute. I don't think it's jute, right? Jute. And this is a thicker, heavier jute. So that's kind of cool to get too. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, and let's see what the embossing folder is. This is Fresh Daisies. That's beautiful. I am really into embossing folders. It's such a fun way to create texture and dimension. I don't know. I would assume there may be coordinating dies for this. Of course, we don't include stuff like that in the kit because it would make the kits way too expensive, but that's just a guess. I don't have that, so I'm not going to worry about cutting anything out. I'm going to use it as is. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, look at this. Cute little, oh, I guess I'm going to be making some mini Slimlines. Two mini Slimline envelopes. One of them is in cream and one of them is in a black linen. Can you see that? Ooh, linen. That takes me back. Takes me back to my graphic design print days when we would choose linen as our printing paper and everyone thought we were super fancy. All right, so we have this, and now let me see what this is. Oh, wow. This is called Sunflower Fields Stencil Set. Now, I don't know if this coordinates with the stamp, so let's see what the name of the stamp set is. Oh, did they just make it easier for me? Okay, let's take a look at the stamps, because I have a feeling that for people like me who don't love to color, I think we just got the solution. Let's take a look at our 6x8 stamp set. Oh, yes! Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if I can get that down. This is the 6x8 stamp set called Sunflower Fields. Look at that cute typography. Oh, I really like that. Oh my goodness. I feel like maybe Christina Warner designed this set. I could be wrong, but there are just perfect little tiny greetings. But here's what I did not realize. You are going to get a coordinating stencil. This comes in layers, and I have a feeling it is designed, wait, let's see, to work. I think I have it turned wrong. I think this is designed, let's see here, to work with the stamps. Am I not seeing it? Or is it a standalone? Well, let's see. Well, no, it doesn't look like it's oh, I think it goes. There we go. When in doubt, flip. So you can isolate your image and add your color. Oh my gosh. And here's the thing with these stencils, you just look for the engraving, and that shows you what layer goes where. This is going to help you color in those parts. Oh my gosh. Well, I know what I'm going to start with first, because let's be real. When you have this all set up for you, for adding the colors, make sure that's there. And for the centers, oh my gosh. Okay, very excited about this. Love a layering stencil. Wow. Okay, that is very, very cool. And if you've never used a layering stencil with a stamped image, it is going to rock your world, because I can't color this. I mean, I could try, but it's probably not going to look that good. So, Sunflower Fields, I would assume, again, there's probably coordinating dies in the shop, and last but not least, we are going to get some cardstock. We have, let's see what we have here. We have a nice piece of burnt orange. We have ivory. We have green leaf, and we have sunshine. So a beautiful palette of color here. And here's the thing too, an image like this, which I will definitely show you, you don't have to color. You can also just make a beautiful, simple card just by embossing. But also, I'm going to have to figure out how to make some fun tags. Oh my goodness. So that is a look at the kit contents. Beautiful stamps, this layering stencil, which I absolutely have to start out with today. Ink pads, I will be using these little mini slimline envelopes, so I will make at least one mini slimline today. And that is a look at sunflowers and daisies. So as you know, I like to let things germinate. I like to ruminate a little before diving in, although I know I want to start by stamping and coloring this big, beautiful image with the stencil. So let me take a breather and we'll jump right in. Let's get started with our first card. And what I'm going to do here is I've trimmed a piece of, this is just Neenah Solar White Classic Crest in the 110 pound. So let me pick this up. I am going to just run my hands over this a bit. As you know, when you get a brand new stamp, if you've ever gotten one and you stamp it down and you think, wow, that wasn't a great impression. What's going on? What's wrong with my stamp? Of course, I'm referring to the photopolymer stamps. They just have a coating from manufacturing. That's all. And these stamps get more conditioned over time, right? So it's not you. It's just the process, and it will stamp better and better. Simon Black, just a regular dye ink today because I'm going to be ink blending over it, right? Just get it coated. It's a very big image. Paper in the corner. Bring this down, and I'll get my stamp press tool, my Debbie tool, and transfer. And you can listen to my squeaky old 120-year-old antique table that I want to replace. It makes so much noise. Don't rush the process, and open. All right. So you can see where some areas stamped really well. And again, you just ink and go again. Corner. Oh, the detail in this though is beautiful. Maybe I'll just focus a little more in the centers. And I might do it one more time. Although, gosh, look at that. That is beautiful. Look at the detail. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it as is because I don't want to, I don't want to lose any detail and I don't want to mess it up. And I've already gotten 2 great impressions. So next, I'll just clean this stamp off to the best of my ability. When I really want to get a good clean, let me move this out of the way. I take some Ultra Clean from Simon Says Stamp, a couple spritzes, and a brush that I just use for this purpose. And again, don't worry if your stamp looks like it's got ink on it. This will stamp perfectly clear and clean on the next project. So I will get set up for stenciling. Before I start ink blending, I'm going to take my heated tool and just make sure that this ink is really set. It's been a while since I've used the Simon ink and I love the detail. I just want to make sure that when I bring in my yellow ink that there's no smudging or smearing. So just this little heat tool is a nice way to set it. Things still slip, and when I'm stenciling something, I really don't want it to move. So I'm an over-adheser. I'm okay with that. And again, this is just so easy to line up. Just kind of work it around until you get it, right? I'm going to go maybe 1 flower at a time. Up there. That's pretty good. Now this is where I will bring in a magnet just to hold this in place. I bought some extra magnets for this. I don't need, well, actually I didn't. Someone sent them to me, which was really, really nice. But now, again, I'll bring in more tape because I'm not afraid of tape. Just so that nothing shifts. If I go on 2 sides of the stencil with the magnets, I think we're going to be good to go. And that looks really nicely lined up. I'm going to use one of my larger Simon brushes with the Citrine. Okay, there's my pad. And I'm going to get just a little scrap of cardstock here to tap off on. Well, I guess I could, you know what though? I could tap off on the, I always want to make sure that it's a double check to make sure you've got the right color. I always want to check it. And now we'll just go ahead and bring the yellow into the sunflowers. I think I might have lifted up under that. I hope not. We'll probably be doing some trimming down. Let's see. Okay. All right. Again, so much easier than coloring. Bring it in that yellow. All right. And you can just deepen it up as you will, however much you want to do it. Take off the magnets. I think I did slide under that a little, but I'm not too worried. I guess we'll see. Lift that up. And now I have a beautiful color here on this layer. Next, we will bring in the leaves. All right, we're going to focus on these leaves. This is so easy to line up that this will work too. Okay, hold that down. And I am going to make my leaves in the Pearfection. So I'll use my small brush here so you can see how this little friend will work. And again, I'm sure this is looking, oh, it's such a pretty green. Okay. And then we'll just bring in this green. This is so much faster than if you were coloring it with a, you know, markers or colored pencils. In fact, I love that. Now, I think for those ones, I don't think I want them to be green. I want that to be green. And that's another nice thing about these small brushes, is you can just get in like that. I would like to make that, and I don't know. Let's see if I can just mask that off real quick. Sure, just take another scrap of paper like that. I'm going to grab a light sort of brown just for those little heads. Let's bring in Latte. And I have my smaller brown brush here. Okay. Just for a little, and this may actually go on my stems too. I think I can. There's not a lot of color area in there, but I think we're good. We've got our leaves. All right. Take this off and let's just lift that stencil up and out. All right. Oh, but look at the depth of the color. It's very pretty. Now I will bring in the stem stencil, and the stem will also be in this lighter color because I think that will be pretty. Same with the Latte. Just bring that up. And just like that, you have added your stems. Oh, so fun. I guess I could have made those in yellow, but you know, I think what they actually are, and correct me if I'm wrong, aren't those the parts of the sunflower that's already fallen off? Like where the leaves have already fallen off? That could be. Now let's figure out these centers. There's a little notch in there. Makes it pretty easy. For this, I'm just going to go with a darker brown altogether, the Mocha. And I use the same brushes when I'm mixing between colors, so if you have to do that, totally fine. Let's brown that up. And it probably will obliterate some of that detail, but once it dries back, I think it will look really pretty. It's very elegant. All right. Now, lift up and out, and we now have our panel for our card. Look how quickly I colored that in. Me, I did that. I'm going to let this dry before I figure out the crop that I'm going to use for this first card project. I don't know which crop I want. I mean, I could go like this and have more of the card, but this is one of the things I love about, you know, these kinds of large images, is that you can take whatever crop you like, and I like that. Even though I stenciled outside of the lines a tiny bit, I kind of love this, and so that's the crop I'm going to take. And I have room for my greetings, so I'm going to put my greeting over here. I should trim this down just a little bit so it can fit through my machine. I don't know where my big scissors are, so I guess I will just go like this. Now I can save this little strip for something else if I want. I don't, you know, sometimes I save things and sometimes I don't. For example, you know, you could cut that sunflower out and pop it up on your card. I'm not going to, but you could. And I will run this through. And of course, I have my Gemini on the Totally Tiffany rotating design board, which works perfectly for not having to move it. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love it. I've got a piece of the Sunshine Cardstock here that I just cut in half the long way. So this is 11 inches by 4 1/4. All right, hold that in place. And we'll fold this down. I just think this will be really pretty for this particular card. So I'm going to, and I haven't even thought of my greeting, to be honest with you, but I'm going to take some of this Simon Says stamp. Oh, look, I have a sequin there. Actually, I think I could just tear it. It's foam tape here. Oh no, I got it all. No, did I get it? I think it might be a little long. No, that works. Although I'm not much of a tearer. I really do prefer to cut my tape because then, well, there's less guesswork. Okay, so look at that beautiful framing yellow, right? I think for the greeting, I just think that's so elegant. I'm going to stamp Thinking of You on just a little piece of black cardstock. So let me get some of that out. Right, I will pick this up, prime it a little bit. Go ahead and just powder that up nicely so that my embossing powder only sticks to where I am stamping. Versamark pad. Ink this up. I don't want to press too hard because I want this to be a really nice transfer of ink. So I'm just going to hold that in place for a second. I think that will be fine. Yeah, that stamped beautifully. I'm just going to grab a little gold. This is Gilded by Brutus Monroe. I'm just going to sprinkle a little on there. Okay. Let that set and tap. That looks good, right? Doesn't look like powder stuck anywhere that it shouldn't stick. All right, and now I have this beautiful shiny greeting, and once it's cool, you just buff off the powder. Oh, that looks great. I will use my Simon Sentiment labels, but I'll go ahead and cut this out. And now I'm gonna show you really quickly how I like to do my little notching. I eyeball it roughly to the center like that. I rarely get it perfect. We'll see. We'll give it the old college try, but I tape that down as well. Did it shift? Yeah, it's fine. Then take this and run it through. And then I have my little cut. Sometimes these stick to the fresh plates, but oh, actually, you know what? Look at that. I did really well. I'm just going to trim the end off. I always do this with my paper trimmer because I'm just not good with scissors. So we just bring it over, kind of figure out the cut and cut. And then I have a very sweet little banner for my card. I'm going to put some of the thinner Simon foam squares on the back of this banner. Take the backers off. I mean, this took me a little longer for a first card, but you know, sometimes just the classics, right? Right there with all that beautiful framing margin space. Oh, I love it. Now let me grab my ruler so that I make sure. The nice thing about the Simon ruler is it's got this big, well, it's got a nice lip on it, okay? One of the things that is going to help you do, not only line up something straight, right, but also to butt something up against the edge. And I think that is a really nice feature. And yeah, it really helps to get that when you're lining up a greeting or something else that you want to be flush with the side that you are lining it up with. Okay, so I will take this. I am going to put just a little bit of liquid glue on here, okay, so that I have just that little bit of wiggle room. Not a lot, just enough, right? Then I can bring in my greeting, press it against both sides like that, and make sure that it's straight. Oh, and look at that. Now I could add some shine if I wanted to. Honestly, I don't think it really needs it, to be perfectly honest, but I think just that right there, because I like how open this side is. So I'll use my same Connect glue and add boop, little friend there. Boop. This one is a little boop and tuck, or swoop, boop. I like it when it tucks under just a little. Here, boop, and the last one here. So that is the finished card project. And again, it is a very simple design, but not having to color, it's the greatest thing. And I didn't do any heroic shadowing or shading, but I love how this happy little sunflower card with that nice crop and the bleeding white space over here, I love how it just lets everything breathe. And that is the first card project. Now I have an idea for the second one that is similar to this, so let's move on to card 2. Let's keep card 2 much simpler, okay? Now I've flipped my Misty to this orientation because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp, well, let's see, or do I want it to be, you know what, I'm going to come up here because I'm going to stamp a crop of this, okay? But I think I'm going to stamp everything at once. So let me get a get well soon or a thank you. You know, either would be nice. Or a sending sunshine. Oh, now it's sticking like crazy. Gosh, they're all so good. I think I'll do a little get well soon because a little note card for someone who's not feeling well can be really nice. Picking this up like that. And again, make sure we're in the corner here. I'm going to powder it up. Anti-static powder. Clear embossing ink to ink this up really well. I don't have to ink up the whole stamp because I'm not stamping the whole thing, but I always kind of go overkill. Bring it down and transfer. Don't want to go too hard on that get well soon, but let's get this nicely down here. I might have to stamp again just for the florals. And it'll be nice because I'll be able to see it. Oh yeah, I'm going to give that a little more love. But not the get well because I feel like that is going to be just fine. Math, I tell you, I didn't need to be in there. Corner, yes, and let's give that a good press in there. Yes, much better. Let's throw on some of the gilded, like this. I may have double, did I? I hope I had this lined up well enough. I think it will look pretty. All right, just let that sit. And tap that away. Okay. That is so pretty. I want to stress, never underestimate the power of just gold embossing powder on any darker toned or jewel toned kind of cardstock. All right, I'm gonna actually pop this into my favorite book and make sure it's completely flat while I go look up what size I need to trim this to. I know there's a standard size for Slimline, so 6. And 6. It's 3.5 by 6, but I don't think, yeah, that wouldn't fit in my envelope. So I'm doing 6.5, and I'm going to score this at 3.25. That's how I'm going to create my Slimline today. I'm going to, and I think it can be done different ways, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I just want to make sure that my card will fit inside my envelope. So let us press this down, okay? This will fit inside my little envelope just fine, right? Right inside that little pocket. Although I guess I could have made it a little taller. That's okay. So now we have, if we go here, we have our 3.25 by 6 card. So the size for the next panel down, well, what would that be? 3 inches by 5 3/4, and that will give me the perfect panel for my card. funny thing happened when I realized I had cream and cream, because I think this will look beautiful on cream. And also, I trimmed this completely incorrectly. This cannot be this size because my panel was only 5.5 inches. So now my panel is 2.5 by, well, let's see here. Is it down to 5.5? Well, I think it's, I'll measure it with a ruler. I'm going to recut a panel out of this cream cardstock, however, to make my mini slimline card base. As cute as this is going to be, I feel like this needs a little something something, and I'm going to show you. I have this set of paints. I'm not usually that fancy, but inside this set, and I can never get it out, inside this Gansai Tambi watercolors is a gold. This gold is probably the only one that I ever use. I actually want to flick a little onto this panel and even onto the card. I know, I just decided to step it up a little. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a little water inside the paint to kind of activate it a little bit. I will also grab a fan brush, right? I'm going to wet that down. And I hope this works. You know, never say never. Sometimes I like to do a little up top here just to see, and I think that will. So just some gold splatters. And maybe a little up here too. And when it dries, it will look gold. Okay, and then a little here on the envelope, just on one side. And when it dries, it's going to give it that sort of matchy feel. All right, I will let that dry. So once the paint dries, see the metallic reflection? It's kind of hard to see, but it just adds a little, you know? Now see how pretty that is? And again, my final card size, so this little panel is 2.5 by 5.25. I just didn't make the connection. You know, math isn't really my strong suit. But now here's my little ivory envelope also, right, with that little bit of gold, which will not affect the mailing. And then this slides right inside, not too deep. And we have a beautiful little card and envelope to send. So I hope you like this one. I actually really love it. I think this is so simple. Again, never overlook the power of a simple emboss, right, on any darker colored cardstock. All right, let's move on. For the next card, I want to use this embossing folder, and what I want to do is just kind of fill this whole background with some ink and see how it works. Let me actually slide this maybe out of the way. I've got a piece of white cardstock here, and let's slide you a little bit. And what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to use my green pad, right? And if I swipe this directly on, you'll see what happens. So we'll just go, well, swipe. We're going to just tap it on, okay? This pad, these pads are so nice and sticky. I'm just going to tap, 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 tap. And then what's going to happen, I think, I'm going to take this. I'm going to put my cardstock right in here like that. Close it. We're going to hold that in place for a second. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run it through. I have my platform base. I have the rubber shim, or the rubber mat. I have the shim. And then another thing that I found to be really helpful for this is I just pop down my packaging, and let's run this through. And I hope it doesn't seep out too much, but we'll see. Let's run it through and see what happens. Come back. And hopefully, right, hopefully it transfers the ink to the background. So let's get these out of the way and open this up. And look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. All right, let me get this cleaned up and then we'll continue. Look at how rich and pretty that is. Oh, I love it. I am going to take the citrine And I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush. This is another type of brush that Simon has right now. I'm actually going to tap a lot of it off though. I don't want this to be too dark. I just want to have a suggestion of yellow just in the centers, like that. I have another one too that I'll show you. This is a different set. They have an angle to them, so they're kind of narrow. And then you can, what's nice about that is, for example, let me turn this. You can just narrowly sweep and blend. I just want it to be very subtle. I don't want this to be really in your face because I think the green is so pretty. We'll just do a little here. And actually, I think this is where this one is better. I'll hold it like that just so I can kind of swipe it where I want it. Got a little dark, but that's okay. It'll dry back. And again, get a little in here. Like that. Maybe a little more. And this can also kind of, you know, I can blend that a little more. But it's so simple, right? You get all this great texture. You do that cool background. I think I gotta come in like this. I have to hold my brush a little strange to get that in. But that gives us a little yellow. Now I am gonna trim this down just a little. I'm not sure exactly how much yet, but I love the way that looks. I think what I'll do is I'm gonna trim off the bottom. I'm gonna go, I like that look there, so I'm going to come and cut this at 5 1/4. Okay, and I think I will take a little off here, right? Well, but if I did 5 1/4 by 4, let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's actually a really nice panel, but I could bring it down a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do, let's see here, we're going to do 3 3/4, although I'm going to cut here. I'm going to flip, okay, to get it right there at 3 3/4. And then it would be 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, right? Or no, by 5. So I'm going to take a little off up here. I'm going to flip it, and we're going to cut it right there. So now I have a really nicely trimmed panel for my card. Now I just have to come up with a quick greeting. I'm going to try something. It may not work, but I thought I would get a little of the twine out here. Now, Twine and me, we don't really know what we're doing, but I thought, what if I took this? Okay, I've got foam tape on the back, okay? Stick it right there. Oh, I'm off camera. Stick it here, right? And then I can come around and maybe just tie a little, although you know what? I should actually do it. If I don't love it, I'll just, you know, I'll ditch it, but I feel like this could be cute. I want to push this here because I do want this to be not in the glue area, but we're going to line it up right about there. I think that will actually work, right? If I go that, I'm gonna let go just so I can make sure that I'm pushed up and pushed down. So we're lined up here and pushed all the way over. Oh, look at me. I don't know if I've ever done this on a card project. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but you can use your, these friends, right? Like that. And I guess I'll just tie a little knot because I'm not going to do a bow. Because let's be real, I can't tie a bow. Oh, let's get this all in camera. And release the hounds and tie just a little knot so that all we have is a little tiny twine friend coming off the card. And I don't even know, like, would you just snip it like that? Okay, little friend like that. And you know what? It actually is going in the wrong direction. Let's go like that and that. And I actually think I'll cut it a little more. but that's the finished card. I've never done twine. I think that's pretty obvious, but I actually think, you know what? That's pretty cute. And that's the finished card. How fun is that to just fill the background, right? Have the dimension. And then again, please forgive my twine skills, but I think you can kind of envision what an expert twine tire would create. All right, let's move on. For my next card, I have an idea. Now, will this idea work? Well, we're gonna have to find out. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this right in the center like this, okay? I am just going to create a watermark for this, and then I am going to emboss in gold on this, and I'm going to try to line them up in the same position. Oh my goodness, famous last words. Okay, I'll put a little tape down just so that I don't lose my actual position, even though I have the magnet. All right, I'm gonna pick this up. And again, remember, my stamp is stained, but it's totally clean and it's going to stamp beautifully. So let me grab my embossing ink. True story, back in the olden days, when I was just a scrapbooker, I thought the only thing you used embossing ink for was exactly what I'm going to do, which is a tone on tone. I never understood embossing powder. I was very afraid of it. Oh, how the times have changed. All right, let's bring this down and I'll grab my press tool if I can find it. Oh my goodness. There we are. Gets very messy in here. And I'm going to take my time and transfer the ink. Now let's see, do I have to stamp this again? Actually, boy, that is gorgeous. I think I'm going to, just because I can. Wow, the detail is something else. That is just stunning. All right. It almost has sort of that old Victorian wallpaper look. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I used to have wallpaper in my house that looked like that when I moved in. Oh, back in the early days. Okay, now I'm not even going to clean this off because I'm just going to sit here, let this get unsticky for a minute, because of course it's going to stay sticky for a while. But what I want to do is I want to stamp exactly on the center here. I know I should be able to do this kind of math, but you know what, friends? I am not that crafty in terms of my math brain. So instead, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this. Well, I don't have to, but again, it's going to give me a visual representation. So I can take this out. Okay, there we are. Beautiful. And set that aside and just let it dry. Let it do its thing. And now I am going to take some tape here. I am going to visually center this. Okay, I'm going to tape that right there. So I'm going to powder this up. Let's see if we can really ink this up. Although that'll probably stay, but let's ink up the center part of my stamp. I feel very, very like I'm doing something wild right now. Oh, actually, but that is going to have, well, I think I need to actually lift this up a bit. I don't want to miss any of the stamp area, and I saw that possibly I was going to miss some of it, so let's just cut it off. Okay, I got tape everywhere. Here we go. There we go. And if the tag doesn't move, now there's no guarantees, I'm going to stamp it one more time. It didn't. Look at that. Okay, one more time. That in the center. Bring that down. I think we really did just do what we wanted to do. Okay. Now I have never embossed on a craft tag like this. I do not know what is going to happen. Okay. And we'll tap it off. Okay. now I have a little shiny tag, right? See, it's got that beautiful pattern. Now, true to what I like to do with these things, to minimize the warping, I am going to go put this inside a book and let it flatten for a second while I work on the greeting. But now you can see when I line this up, it's going to basically carry the pattern behind it out into the nether regions. I think that's kind of cool. Had a different thought. I'm going to put this on vellum and I'm going to do a little wrap around my tag. So I've got this sweet little thank you. I'm just going to place it, you know, right here in the center. Try to get it straight on the line. Picking this up, and I think gold would still be pretty on this though. Powder up my vellum. I think this will be just fine. I don't want to stamp it too many times, i.e. I just want to stamp it once. Preserve all that beautiful delicateness. Oh yeah, that looks good. Just go like that. All right, very, very simple. All right. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. See how fast it is with vellum? I mean, that is just literally a swipe and go. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Oh, okay. Let me get my sentiment label die and I will cut this band out. Yeah, that gives it lots of room to breathe. I'm going to tape it into place. Sometimes I do both sides just because, you know, things can slip and shift and I don't want that to happen. So I will go and run this through my Gemini. This is still a little tacky, so I'm not going to touch that yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my tagger here. And let's just slide this here too so I can make sure that the tag is completely straight. And I'm just going to tack it down with some Easy C tape. And then I'm going to flip it over like that. Take a little tape, put it on each side, right? And then all I have to do, where's my bone folder here, is just bring it up like that and fold that in. And I'll secure it with a little bit of, what do you call it? Foam tape, because we're gonna pop this up. But that way we have our cute little wrap. And then I'll just lift this right off like that to release it, which also gives it that little bit of float time. But isn't that pretty? I've got this panel basically where I want it, because you can see how that's even the tip of the leaf right there. That goes off there. That continues there. And that is exactly where I want this to be. So now you can see why trimming after the fact gives you the ability to make sure that you get the frame and the crop that you want. So that is the crop that I'm going to take, and I'll go cut this out. I'll just take a little twine here and probably just, you know, I'm not great with bows, but I do know how to do this, right? So I'm going to do this before I adhere everything together. I know how to do the classic Christmas tag, right? Where you put it through, you go, you know, your thing's in the front, you go through a loop, and then you go like this. Okay, and that just gives you a very simple little twine through your tag. So I mean, look at this just by itself. If you just put a simple greeting, I mean, yeah, don't discount the simple basics of stamping. It's funny because those are the things that I feel like every time I do them, because I never really did them, I get very excited about the simple basics, right? All right, let's see if I can get this. Nicely framed on the panel. And then also take the foam off the back here. You know, I might put some liquid. Well, do I need it? Yeah. I'm going to put a little liquid glue on this just so that I have that little bit of wiggle room. And really, I just want to make sure that I keep the twine out of the way because I don't need to. All right. And then we come back in where we locate the pieces. Just trying to line that up, top and bottom. I think that looks pretty even. Okay, and press. So there, it's almost like, not like an eclipse, but you're getting this continuation of the stamps. I think that's kind of cute. And then if I wanted to, I could bow this up, or I could just cut the twine, you know, a little bit, cut a little bit off, knowing full well that when I go to put this inside a note card, right, I would have to tuck it in, but that is the finished card. I actually really like how that turned out. Got shocked. And I'm not going to put anything else on this. I think it's simple. And I think sometimes, you know, you have to know when to say when. So, what do you think? All right, moving on. For my final card today, I am going to stamp the single little bloom here. Just the single. And I'm going to color with some alcohol markers. Now, I have gotten a little more confident because something like this you can keep very simple, and that is always my goal. But I'm stamping down here with Memento Tuxedo Black, which is an alcohol ink friendly ink, if you will. And my little hack here, my little secret, let's just do a light tap here, is that I'm stamping this on 80 pound Neenah Solar White Classic Crest, because I don't have the coordinating dies, and for me, the 80 pound is just easier to turn and cut. So that's a little secret. If you ever have an image that you really want to color and cut out, do it on a lighter cardstock. It's not going to make really any difference for your final card, and it will be much easier to cut. So to color this in, I'm going to keep it very simple. I'll put some music on, and I'll make sure to keep my little caps right here. If you want to keep track of the colors, I'll also have them linked on my blog post. So that is my simple flower, and to save time, I will cut this off camera and we will continue with the card. I am going to create some texture on this base. Now, I'm actually going to tape it because I don't want it to move, but you can do this with your score friend here. It's so easy to do. Just do 1/4 inches all the way down the panel. Just kind of hold it when you go over. It's just such a quick way to add some fun texture to a card panel. I always like to try to do one that will even out correctly. I hope this does. I think it will. I know you can get fancier. I'm not going to, because that's just not really my jam. And then when it starts to get harder to hold, just flip it like this. I guess I didn't really need to tape it, because then just line it right back in the grooves, right? And keep going so it's a little easier. I think this will work out perfectly. Oh, look at the bottom. I have to kind of redo those too. That's the problem if you're starting at the top. Sometimes you don't quite get the same all the way to the bottom. So let's go over those again. And actually that'll be nice. All the way. All the way. Super easy though. And let's do that last one like that. And I think I will flip that just to make sure I can get those last little ones. And again, I'm just gonna pop it into the grooves, look where I stopped, and we'll start it up top. Because you can make a choice now whether or not you want to go the deboss side or, sorry, my hand's in the way, or the emboss side, because now, see that texture you have? I tend to like the dip in like this. So that is going to be the base of my card. And look what I did. I took one of my tags, and because I wanted to have a nice little bit of that craft look on this. So let me get some foam tape and we'll finish out this card. Foam tape on the back and pop that down. That looks like a bug. Oh my gosh, it is. Well, someone's gonna get a teeny tiny gnat on their card. You know, though, it is a flower, so I suppose that makes sense. Like that. Sometimes just a single bloom, that can be so pretty. You don't have to be, you know, writing those creative checks that your body might not be able to cash. And I think you know, because I do this, I do it frequently, and well, then I know. But again, we're gonna go like this, and this, I am going to grab my ruler if I can find it. I might have to take a quick video swing of what the space looks like when I'm done, because when I say that I can't find something, it will make sense to you once you see what everything looks like off to the side. And I have foam squares that are just a little bit taller. I doubled up 2 of them so that we can have Missing You floating above the bloom. And so you have that little bit of texture. See how cool that is? Just like that. And I think that's the finished card project. I don't think I need to put shine on here, although I could. You know, let me see. You know, it doesn't detract and it doesn't hurt it that much. So I'm going to do it because boop, it's a neutral shine, right? Boop. And that's fine. Sometimes that's fine. I'm going with my odd numbers, right? And why not? Little boop. And the last one is a boop. And that is the final card project today. So I think I've shown a number of looks, but I almost feel like this might be my favorite card of the day. I just love how simple that is, right? Again, the greetings in this set are so, I love them. I want more of them. I think they're just a beautiful style and design. So that is the card finale. Let me grab all of the cards and we can take a look at them. Let's take another look through all of the cards. This is the one I did with the stencil, and I actually think there are far more potential opportunities with the stencil, and I'm excited that that was included. Of course, then I did just a little slimline that's going to fit perfectly into my little envelope with, see the gold splatter, how you can pick it up now? It's pretty cool. So there's that card. We did the embossing folder, right? When I fill in the whole background with the color and just let the daisies shine through. And yes, now some of you, I didn't even touch the other big thick twine that's in the kit. But you know, I think for people, and that's this here, the jute. I think for those people who know how to work the twine, you're going to know what to do. I am not as confident. And then of course this one, which I still think is really cool. See how it dried, the Versamark or the Simon Says stamp ink. I love that. And then our final card, which was, I think, well, yeah, I do. I really love this. And you know, you never know what's going to come out. I always challenge myself in these videos, and I really enjoy it because it gets me to do card making things that maybe are even more basic that somehow I missed because I just started card making, well, in the last 5 years. I hope this inspired you today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can find links to all of the core products below. And because the supply lists tend to get really, really long, I will have a complete supply list on my blog post, and there will also be a link to the blog post as well. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you like kit unboxings, oh, I have more for you. I can't guarantee that the kits are still in stock, but if you like videos like this, I've got 2 more here linked in the thumbnails. Thanks so much and have a great day.